But if somebody's able to really tap into like something you didn't have or something that just feels like oxygen, right? Goodness gracious, like you could be the smartest, most, well acclimated person with the best parents or whatever upbringing, which most people aren't, but some people do have that, and still fall kind of, into this fog that is like, gosh, like you want to be with this person, but it doesn't feel good, that mishmash. And I think the thing I've learned clearly is that when you feel that trepidation, run, don't walk. Like it's not like the gray zone is actually the thing to just exit fast. Gray doesn't mean like hover and check it out and
it's
like run some experiments here.
A ticking bomb.
Get out. Yeah, exactly.
Run.
Just run.
Yeah.
Just run.
It's also, I think there's some people that are very sheltered and they've been well taken care of and they're not accustomed to manipulative people and they're not accustomed to dangerous people. Right. And so they don't know. I've seen that before, both with people choosing the wrong friends and people choosing the wrong partners. Yeah,
that certainly hasn't been my pattern. Not that I had the hardest upbringing, but it was easy. I always say easier than some, harder than others. But I always had great friends, great friendships. But my threat sensing, it wasn't always great in romantic relationships, for sure. I've also had some great relationships. I think what tends to happen is that if we're very busy, we have this tendency to be easily manipulated by certain things that are unusual, that really feel like extra oxygen to us, or just feel so nourishing. And because I think people always or often default to sex, like it's all about sex. Depending on who you are, like sex is either more or less readily available to you, right? Like I think that for some people it's nurturing, like to a certain form of nurturing. And then there's also this thing of we know how to survive certain things so they don't feel as dangerous. So people who've had like very overbearing or complicated childhoods or abusive childhoods, sometimes they're set to perceive danger at way too high a threshold. Right? So their perception of what's dangerous is like way too high. And so they walk into even still dangerous situations, but they don't think of them as dangerous. And they're like, oh, I can navigate this. They're good at navigating difficult people, or they're good at navigating, borderline people or something like that.
I think it's also exciting, which is part of the problem, is that people like excitement. And if you have a boring life and a life that doesn't have a lot of stimulation in it, and then you find someone, even if they're bad for you, but they're exciting, there's some conflict, something. There's fights and breakups and then makeups, which are exciting, and so then you get locked into this stimulation pattern, which is, or I've seen that multiple times with people.